that shit. My bad on the tardiness. What had happened was we had gotten a new TV, and it was about damn time we got a brand new one for the family room, which is where I've been shooting these recaps for Real Housewives of Atlanta because I don't feel like fucking with all them damn lights and being all bougie in the background of my damn office space. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys are cool with this setup right here for right now. And I didn't know how to use that motherfucker, to be real. I didn't know how to turn the motherfucker on to get it to connect to cable, to get it to connect to the DVR settings that I had on my damn TV, to be able to watch the show to recap it for y'all. So I had to wait till Juice got home last night to go ahead and show me how to get it done correctly. So now we are in business and we are good, okay? And we shouldn't have this kind of delay anymore, all right? But thank you so much for your patience with me. If you have not checked out the last recap for the first episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, it will be linked down below, and it's also in this playlist. So it's the video right before this. So make sure you get your laugh on with that one too. Check out the blog, TheSocialiteLife.com. There's some new blog posts on there. There's always new blog posts on there every single week. Juice has been putting up some shit up there too, so I will leave that down below for y'all to check out. If your motherfucking asses haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what the fuck are we waiting on? Yeah, get to subscribe and hit that red subscribe button. Go ahead and get yourself all acclimated with the fam bam, and to all my new subscribers over the last few weeks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to see y'all here, alright? Okay, so I had to get all that housekeeping shit out the way. You already know how we're gonna do. We on episode 2 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it's daytime, it's the morning. I'm trying to get my body all the way together. We going to the gym later, so we ain't got no kind of wines. We on recap water. Delicious. So let go. Okay, so we start off where they left off last episode, okay? We saw Shoulda, that would be Sheree, Sheree, okay? She was getting into it with Miss Kenya Moore, okay, who had started that shit from the very beginning, okay? So this bitch is about to throw a drink on Kenya, and somehow another Portia and every other motherfucker that was there got in between the both of them motherfuckers, right? And pretty much prevented her ass from doing that shit, which I would think by now, like, grown-ass women would stop doing this type of shit at this age, at this point in time, at this juncture, at the event. But whatever, you gotta keep the paychecks coming, especially, you know, Shoulda Sheree. So anyway, these motherfuckers prevent that bitch from dropping some shit on Kenya. Next thing you know, 2 seconds later, Kenya's like,
Seriously, I'm so sorry for calling you a bitch ass, okay? I'm so sorry.
Like, bitch, did you just go from 0 to 100, then back to -20? Like, where the fuck did that shit come from? Like, y'all know Kenya's crazy as fuck. So anyway, so yeah, that whole thing ended up dispersing or whatever. Everybody went their separate ways. Kenya went on to try to grab herself a little bit of a drink. Of course, Mallory's old messy ass followed her ass over there. Phaedra comes over trying to get the tea and shit, and they all asking her like, what's going on? Why'd you start in on this bitch? And Kenya's ass is gonna respond like,
I didn't start that.
Again, this bitch's delusional ass tried to deny some shit that the bitch knows damn well she did. Like, sometimes I be like, are you really that dumb? And then sometimes I'm like, that bitch just does the shit for show or whatever the fuck. And I swear Kenya's ass is bipolar. Like, I know she's a shit starter and whatever the fuck, but I truly believe, for real, just based on what I've seen these last couple of seasons, that bitch is bipolar, that she got for real issues or whatever from a mental perspective. I'm just saying. Anyway, so we move on to now Peter, who walks up on Candy's ass, and he's all, you know, congratulating her on a new baby, the new addition in the family and shit. And Cynthia's right in tow, ready to talk to him about whatever the fuck done happened between him and Kenya when he walked in the door. So as he's congratulating her and shit, Candy's ass is like,
I heard you were showing out in there earlier.
So Peter was like, look, I was just, you know, trying to set a bitch straight pretty much, okay? So now Cynthia comes over, right, exit Candy's ass, and we got Cynthia and Mallory that came the fuck out of nowhere with her messy ass, right? So Cynthia's like, well, what the fuck just happened? And he basically explains to her that, you know, when he walked up on Kenya, the bitch backed up off him and shit, and that he had to set the bitch straight, that she had no right to judge on the video that done came out and all that other motherfucking bullshit. And of course, Cynthia's ass and her little, you know, testimonial or whatever, her little whatever confessionals, all like, well, shit, Peter, the video came out, everybody saw the shit. Deal with the shit, right? So we move on to now Portia and Candy. Candy done moved over to Portia and Marlo and Shoulda Sheree, okay? And they're sitting there watching all of that unfold. And as they're watching, Peter's over there trying to demonstrate how the fuck he done did the bitch on the video by damn near choke holding Mallory's ass, which you probably know. You know, those two motherfuckers don't get along, and Peter probably really wanted to for real choke the bitch out when he was putting his hand on her, because he sure as hell put his hand on her real aggressively to showcase what the fuck he did in the video. So Phaedra done joins them little bitches on the couch and shit, and they're all looking over at whatever the fuck is going down and shit, right? And Portia's ass is like,
that got turned up real quick.
Meanwhile, as Portia's ass says that shit, Shooter's ass is gonna sit here talking about some I am reformed. I'm like, bitch, who the fuck is what? Every bitch looked at that motherfucker like she was on crack. I was like, you reformed, but your motherfucking ass is ready to fight a bitch at a motherfucking event over some shit is fucking true. Your ass ain't got no damn house to the first. That shit has been needed to be finished for the last few years. You might as well call that motherfucker a damn monument, okay? On the motherfucking street. That shit ain't had nothing done to the motherfucker. So you gonna sit here and say your ass is reformed like your ass done changed? Here's what shoulda changed though, okay, with Miss Shoulda Sheree. The bitch shoulda got herself a stylist. The bitch shoulda got herself a damn makeup artist. The bitch shoulda just looked better than she did the last few episodes, because if you look at the recaps when they showing her little fallout with Kim and her fallout with Nene and whatever the fuck else kind of bullshit they done showed, I'm like, the bitch hasn't even evolved from a physical, from a stylist, makeup, hairstyle perspective since when she was on the very first time when the show came out. Like, this is before Nene done got her teeth fixed and went blind and shit. This before Kim done had all her damn surgeries and shit. And she ended up going from like however the fuck old she claims she is to 15 motherfucking years old. This before everybody that's on the show now looks 150% better than her. I'm like, you coming back on the show that made you, that started your ass off on this whole reality show journey, and your ass couldn't have found a stylist, a makeup, hair stylist, somebody to the first to have looked like a little different. So back on to Peter, Cynthia, and Mallory's ass, right? So now Peter's gonna be like, well, I wasn't even paying attention to whatever the fuck was going on when your ass was coming down them motherfucking steps. And I'm like, the fuck is he upset about? The bitch looked damn good. That bitch was killing all kind of hoes. And it's her motherfucking event. The bitch wasn't booty naked. She's wearing a swimsuit. Shit. What's the big fucking deal with the dashiki type of shit over the shit? So it wasn't like she was walking around with her swimsuit all booty ass naked and shit. So now he makes some slide ass remark about that bullshit, and then decides to walk the fuck away. And Mallory's like,
You don't need to walk away.
I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out they damn business with your old messy the fuck ass. So now we're done with that shit, and we've got Kenya, who is now heading over to Kim Field's place of business, okay? Supposedly Kim is now doing a little bit of everything. I didn't really know what she was doing since pretty much living single, but she's supposed to be producing things and creating pilots, and she's worked with Tyler Perry and all that other bullshit. My hope that I mean, I can't even lie to y'all. I am praying to God that this bitch does not look a damn fool on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, I know you gotta act a fool to be able to even get your little second season, a third season with the show, but I would rather her just stick this one season out, hold her head up high, and come out that bitch not looking cray-cray and not be back on for the next season if that's the case. Because shit, she's an icon. You know what I'm saying? She's been in the game long enough where she don't need to tarnish her reputation. Anyway, so Kenya's ass is, of course, coming over to her place of business. I don't know whatever the fuck reason for, but we gonna soon find out. So they sit down and they get to chit-chatting or whatever, right? And Kenya's like, oh yeah, you know, I remember the last time that we worked together. And, you know, of course, Kim's like, oh, that was on Meet the Browns. That was my first time directing for Tyler Perry and shit. And Kenya's old stupid ass is gonna be like,
Yeah, that was a tough one.
I'm like, bitch, what the fuck do you you know about whatever the fuck she was doing? Bitch, you don't have not one credit to your motherfucking name that's even close to the caliber of whatever the fuck Kim has done on one show, okay? And then Kenya's ass is gonna continue on and be like,
Yes, Hollywood has been so good to us.
I was like, oh, hell nah, bitch. Bitch, you know what the fuck? The only thing your motherfucking ass did was do Miss USA or Miss Universe or whatever the fuck your shit is. I done forgot the shit at this point because all I know her for at this point is Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I know that she's just a messy bitch. That's all I know about the bitch, okay? That's gonna be her legacy at the end of the motherfucking day. Talking about some Hollywood has been so motherfucking good to us, nigga. So now Kenya's ass is talking about the reason why she came up in this motherfucker is so that she could possibly let Kim take a look at Life Twirls On and maybe come on as a motherfucking director. And if y'all saw Kim's face, I was like, bitch, look, that's gonna be a hot ass mess. She gonna talk about some, well, you're really the director, so, and of course Kenya's all like, well, no, I mean, I can do it all, but I need someone who can actually do it better, right? Meanwhile, Kenya's ass talking about, yeah, well, there's been a lot of interest in Life Twirls On, but I haven't really found the right home for it yet. I'm like, bitch, nobody wants that motherfucker, okay? Stop with that delusional ass shit. Nobody wants to see Life motherfucking Twirls On, bitch. So of course, Kenya leaves her damn DVD for Kim to take a look at, and she's swearing that as soon as she sees that shit, Kim Fields is gonna go ahead and call her and beg her to be a part of the damn project. I'm like, bitch. So now we're at Cynthia's house and she's kind of talking to her business partner Tiffany about how the event went and how they need to expand to Florida and Paris and do events other places and all that other bullshit. And of course Cynthia has a breakdown and she's all telling her that she doesn't know what to do about the situation. Of course Tiffany's telling her if you hold this shit in, it's gonna consume you, so you gotta let it out or whatever the fuck. And that's pretty much whatever the fuck happened in that scene. So now Portia is at her, I guess, offices or whatever, or office or whatever the fuck. And she's with her team of people that are helping her with all of her brands. She's got a hairline and shit. She's got a lingerie line and shit. And they're giving her a whole bunch of grief because they said that when that bitch gets a man, she forgets about all her other business shit. And then when the shit goes bad, she's nowhere to be found because she's all in her motherfucking feelings. So she's sitting here trying to plead with these motherfuckers like, I mean, can I just have time for Duke and whatever the fuck? And they're like, look, when you are not with a man, you focused, okay? So they're giving her grief about that shit. Meanwhile, she's talking about she gonna have a sip and see to show everybody and to prove to everybody that this nigga is a man's man. That Duke is a man's man. Now, y'all know what I said last episode's recap. Duke doesn't come across to me like he's completely the fuck straight. That motherfucker seems a little sweet, okay? And I'm wondering why she so badly needs to have a sip and see.
What the fuck do we need to see, bitch? The fact that your man likes men's?
Because that's kind of the feeling that I have about that nigga, but we gon' see how the motherfucking sip and see goes. We're at a tea shop, and I guess Phaedra and Cynthia are finna get the fuck together. Random, right? And of course, Phaedra in her confessional sitting there talking about, you know, I thought we were actually cool, and then last year shit didn't hit the fan, and so we ain't cool no more. But I'm willing to forgive for now because that's what a good Christian woman does. And I'm like, bitch, you know damn well you just trying to get the motherfucking tea, and you living in the fact that Cynthia's having old man problems right now because of whatever the fuck she done tried to do to you last season.
Don't try it, boo-boo. We know.
Then we got Shooter's old dusty ass showing up at Tag's Boutique, which is Candy store and shit. And Candy's trying to pick out some shit so she can try to hide her belly or whatever the fuck. And of course, Shooter's ass comes in with her daughters, who I mean, y'all look, can y'all see what I'm talking about when I say she ain't even trying to look like she a Real Housewife of Atlanta? Like, I don't know what the fuck she was wearing. I understand trying to dress down, or maybe you're more of a casual motherfucker, but damn, you could have done a little better. Even her daughters were presented better than Shooter's ass was. And then did you see how thick that bitch is? I knew she was thick. Like, that bitch is she is solid as fuck. but damn, bitch got ass for days. Anyway, so they walk in, of course, you know, Candy's giving hugs to the children and shit. It's been a few years since we've seen the motherfuckers, and that's really what's going on right now. I guess Phaedra and Cynthia are sitting there recapping whatever the fuck happened that night at the party, and they're talking about Kenya and shoulda and that whole situation, and then, you know, she's asking a little bit about Cynthia and Peter's situation because she wanted to make sure she mentioned whatever the fuck Mallory said, because then Cynthia had said that she had come down all in her bikini and shit for Peter's ass, and I'm like, nigga, you don't even like that nigga. Y'all don't even, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have that, you know, that chemistry any fucking way, and I wouldn't want to come down no damn stairs for your motherfucking ass in no kind of bikini to kind of do nothing to your ass after you done had the video that just came out a few days earlier, but whatever. Anyway, long story short, Phaedra was like, well, you know, if you need my help, because I've been here too. Last year when I was going through all my shit, I thought all my girls were going to have my back, and they didn't. But if you need someone to talk to, I got you, because I've been there, done that, etc., etc. Cynthia's like, hey, I appreciate it. I apologize for whatever the fuck I did. And hopefully you didn't block my number, boo-boo, because I might be calling on your ass if I need assistance. And that was that, right? Then we go over to Dusty Rose. That would be shoulda shit, okay? Shoulda and Candy are sitting talking, having a little sit down while the other girls are doing a little shopping and shit. And of course, they're talking about Phaedra and Kenya. And so they start talking about how Kenya's ass is and how she was at the party, and is Kenya always like that? And Candy's like, yeah, she's like that. And now she's asking Candy's ass about her relationship with Phaedra, and of course Candy's like, I didn't even know we had any problems, etc., etc., etc. Can we? Shoulda's hair. Really? Nobody could have run a hot comb through that motherfucker and flat iron that motherfucker to just lay it out or put a couple curls in it or laid it on some shit. The shit, it was like she woke up that morning, took a shower, got dressed, threw on some jeans, a little t-shirt. That shit was wrinkled in a motherfucker. Put her hair in a bun that is almost about to come the fuck out and went to fucking tape. What the fuck? Okay. Anyway, moving on. We move on to, I guess, the kitchen at the offices, or candy-coated offices or whatever, right? And it's Todd, it's that Carla, I think, chick, it's Don Juan, or whatever the fuck. Anyway, they get together because I guess Don Juan wants to have a conversation with Candy to kind of talk about what the doctor is telling, you know, her she needs to do. And of course, she goes on and let them know that she's supposed to be trying to scale back and not do so much work. But long story short, she's got a whole bunch of projects coming up, candy-coated night. She's got a video to shoot, a restaurant, I guess, that she is now opening. And then they get on to discussing a baby shower and who's going to be invited to that. And of course, they ask if Phaedra's going to be there. And Todd's ass is like, when she's there, make sure you have her bring me my money. And I'm like, nigga, drop that shit. That was 2 seasons the fuck ago. But whatever. And somehow or another, I guess Don Juan and Todd are kind of cool in the gang, because remember they had beef or whatever, because now Don Juan is like, look, I'll recoup the money for your asses, but just give me a percentage. And Todd was like, I'll give you 20%. And they shook on the shit and shit. But either way, that was pretty much whatever the fuck happened in that shit. We are at Portia's crib because she's finna do this motherfucking sip and see his ass is gay, okay? And so she is getting ready, and all the girls are in the background getting ready as well. Her mama there, her grandma there, her sister there, and everybody or whatever the fuck. And they getting ready for this little sip and see bullshit, his little going away party and shit. And I guess her mama's asking about this Duke guy and shit, and she's all like, oh, he's 24, but he's all man. And I just feel like she is going over the top to have to prove to these motherfuckers that nigga is straight. But anyway, so I guess her sister, I think her name is Lauren or some shit, whatever. Anyway, she kind of walks off and goes to the bathroom. Turns out she was not feeling so good. Of course, Portia's ass like, oh my God, what's going on? What's wrong with you? And next thing you know, it turns out that she's having a little bit of sickness because she is actually, in fact, pregnant. Now, I don't know if any of y'all peep game, but did any of y'all notice Portia's face when she said she was expecting, and how Portia looked at her like, bitch, did you really get pregnant before me? Like, I felt like there was some salt there. I don't know if anybody else but myself saw that shit, but I felt like she was jealous as a motherfucker with that shit when she said she was expecting. But anyway, as I fast forward a little further on, yeah, I was right. That bitch is jealous of the motherfucker. Turns out Portia's like, I really didn't expect that bitch to get pregnant and have a baby before my ass would. That I would have been the one to have been expected to have a child before. Bitch, if you don't just just be happy for your motherfucking sister and keep it the fuck pushing. That's another thing too. Is Portia's sister with a nigga, or is this just a random pregnancy? Like, is this somebody she's fucking dating? Whatever the fuck. Like, I don't really know, because I don't know that they've ever touched on her dating life. But I'm just curious. Just curious. Motherfuckers started arriving at this shit, and of course Phaedra comes in and she's like, ooh, child, girl, look at what you wearing, because she done put on this little baby doll type, jersey-ish type top that's all tight and tied up in the back with his motherfucking number and shit in the front and shit, and she wearing these tight as fuck ass jeans with all that ass showing. I ain't gonna lie, her ass look good, right? This bitch has motherfucking I can't. Oh my god. The bitch has cheerleaders to welcome this nigga in when he comes in the motherfucking door. Who the fuck does this shit, right? If you wanted to make him any gay or anyway, okay, so this nigga comes in, ironically enough, with another nigga. What the fuck you need to bring another nigga to her house for if you just coming over to hang the fuck out because you didn't know about this motherfucking see if your ass is gay surprise party that Portia's ass done had for your ass. So I'm trying to figure out who the fuck is this other nigga, right? So when they come in, them bitches are like, yeah. Meanwhile, Portia's, yeah. And then the nigga behind him rubbing his shoulders and shit. Then this Duke nigga gonna come in and Portia's gonna be introducing his ass to her motherfucking mama. And I don't know if y'all caught him pursing his motherfucking lips when he was talking to her, but he was all like, did y'all catch that shit? Who does that shit? Okay, you know what? Let me just leave that shit alone. After that, right, we move on to everybody in her camp. That'd be Portia's camp. And whoever that swole nigga is, he's sitting there, you know, kind of giving Candy the tea on what the fuck's going on, really, with this nigga Duke. After they done already spoke about the fact that they really don't support this relationship and they don't think it's gonna go nowhere, including her sister who was sitting there with her crazy as fuck looking ass lashes. Does Portia intentionally do her sister dirty like that, where she has her sister looking dusty and Portia look good? Like she couldn't told her stylist or her makeup artist or whoever, her weaveologist, to put a little bit of the whatever the fuck naked hair, whatever the fuck bullshit ass company she done got on that bitch's head too, and take them fake as fuck as huge ass lashes off her damn eyes and give her something, just make her look a little bit more presentable and shit. It's like she intentionally does her sister dirty. Anyway, I guess as they sitting there conversating and shit, off on the side, the swole nigga gonna reveal the fact that Duke's ass messes with transgender motherfuckers. What I say? I said that shit from the beginning, that nigga seems sweet as fuck. And look, I ain't got no problem with the shit, okay? I have zero problems with anybody who messes with transgenders or whatever. I have zero problems with the shit. But I knew that nigga was not completely straight. Ain't no damn way. Now, I'm assuming and shit. But shit, look, like I said, that nigga suspect as hell. We go back to Duke's old sweet ass, and he's sitting there talking to his Ken doll. Okay. And I guess that nigga's like, this shit's a whole hell of a lot. And they were both basically going back and forth about what the fuck is going on here, right? And of course, Duke wants to fucking dipset, it seems like. But the Ken doll is like, nigga, you need to stay, because this is for you, nigga. And so now we go on to Portia, who's like,
I have a surprise for you.
She brings this nigga Duke up to the front, and then she starts talking on a microphone that ain't even on and shit, right? And this bitch talking about
sometimes in life you just meet somebody and it's just gonna be me and you against the world.
Meanwhile, this nigga looking like, and this bitch gonna present an award, an actual glass award to this nigga. And then you notice the cameras pan over to Ken doll, the nigga he done came in the motherfucking party with, to see his motherfucking reaction. I'm like, Then you start to see the reactions on every other motherfucker's face that was at the damn party. And y'all know all kinds of shade was thrown, just side eyes and shit, and funny looking ass faces and shit. I'm like, this bitch is for real dumb as fuck, right? Then they get to kissing or whatever, you know, they're giving themselves a big ass smooch and shit. It wasn't that the most awkward as fuck ass smooch to watch, because now you kind of know a little something, because they done threw some tea out there about the transgendered woman and shit. The nigga done pursed his lips about 8 times before then, so, you know, then he got a nigga on his, I don't know. Either way, it was odd. So I guess Phaedra and Kandi are now together, right? They're gonna talk through their little differences and kind of try to hash things out and see if they can come back to one accord or whatever. So anyway, I guess Candy's ass is just telling her she feels as though that she was blindsided by the fact that there were problems in their relationship because she didn't know anything was wrong for real because she never said anything. And then she gonna come to find out that Phaedra's ass is going to Nene and talking to her and telling her that shit. Meanwhile, she ain't coming to Kandi to let her know what the fuck is going on. Now y'all know Candy's ass was gonna start crying, right? And you already know how she does. Y'all know she got that old ugly cry. So this bitch is gonna be like,
it's because I just feel like every time we got together, it's because I called you.
Phaedra's ass is gonna be like, look, let me tell you what the fuck really went down and why the fuck I was really ticked, okay? So she proceeds to talk about the fact that she's at the grocery store and strangers are coming up on her talking about some, hey, I wanna buy whatever the fuck Apollo's ass has in assets, like his bikes and all that kind of shit. Now y'all know, last episode's recap, I done mentioned the fact that there's more than likely a chance that by them showcasing the fact that they were hiding this shit for him, that they probably gonna come and try to seize them shits because he has restitution to pay, period, end of story, regardless of what kind of time he has to serve in jail, okay? So Phaedra's like, well, shit, the fucking government showed up at my doorstep looking for these motherfucking bikes and motorcycles and shit so they could seize those assets to put towards this other shit, and she didn't know what the fuck to say because she didn't have them in her possession. Meanwhile, Candy's ass has them in her garage, and she felt shaded and slighted because Kandi didn't feel like telling her that shit, which I'm not even gonna lie to you, that is fucked up. I mean, Phaedra talked about girl code and all that kind of shit. I agree. I mean, I know that Todd has his own relationship with Apollo, but the reality of it all is that Todd didn't come into the picture until later on in the game. Let's be real. That Phaedra and Kandi already had a previous relationship. And my thing is, you should just stay out that shit. Why get involved in some shit that you could probably get in legal trouble for? Because you actually hiding his assets for real. And now that they done showed the shit, guarantee you they ain't gonna have them shits for much longer. They probably don't have them now. Shit, the government's gonna come and get that shit too. So I agree with Phaedra. That's shady. And if anything, if she knew Todd was gonna do that, then Kandi should have said something to Phaedra and said, hey, look, you know Todd's friends with Apollo, and anyway, Todd's ass has this shit in my damn garage if you want it. Or, if anything, Todd should have stayed the fuck out of it and said, look, I don't want to fuck up any relationship they had, but you know Todd, he upset about his $8,000 or whatever the fuck, so he probably did that shit out of spite. Either way, it's still shady. It don't look good. They go back and forth for a little bit, right? And they hashing out whatever the fuck other issues they came up with. I'm not gonna lie, for real, I have to side a little bit more with Phaedra on this shit for real, as you clearly can see. Because, I mean, Todd getting involved in that mess, even though I know he's cool with Apollo, I just feel like that was messy. Now, do I think that Phaedra needs to pay that little $5,000 that she says she owes, or the $8,000 that Kandi and Todd says that she owes? I don't know about all that shit. I mean, from a legal perspective, sure. But reality is, that's not what the root of this motherfucking problem is between the two of them as friends, okay? So I guess, long story short, them two little niggas hash the shit out. They have their little cry, and they're like, we gonna work on it, and we gonna try to move forward from here. In the meantime, as they doing their last little crying session, Don Juan walks in, and he comes in through the back door, and he's all walking up. He's like, oh shit. And almost walks in on them as they're having this conversation with his old messy ass. So he kind of chuckles and walks the fuck back out. But you know he's still probably in the motherfucking parking lot waiting for his entrance. Okay. So now Phaedra leaves. Okay. So they let that bitch go. And now enters Don Juan. Okay. So he proceeds to ask Kandi how everything the fuck went. Of course, Candy's ass is talking about this is what happened. And you know, I think we're in a better place now. And cue Don Juan as he decides to continue to be messy and want to keep Candy's ass in the same place she was before these two bitches had that conversation. This nigga's talking about some, This motherfucker doesn't know shit about you. She over here crying tears like the color purple with her little fake ass shit, and she doesn't know what the fuck was going on with you. And if you can't trust your friends, then who the fuck can you trust?
If you can't go to Bella Noche, where the fuck can you go?
And I'm like, damn nigga, can she have 5 seconds to just come down from the little love fest they done just had? Like, she can't just live in that moment. You want to keep her with the drama with Phaedra and shit. Can they just kumbaya their ass through this whole thing? Anyway, so that nigga's saying that he don't trust Phaedra for shit, and that you need to question, as in Candy, you need to question your relationship with the bitch, because clearly she doesn't give a fuck about you. And if it really was all about that, then her ass wouldn't have married Apollo's old criminal ass, because she knew he was a criminal when she first met him, which I agree with. And so when he was doing the criminal shit, it shouldn't have been a motherfucking surprise, so she doesn't deserve any kind of shit and sympathy for that shit. Anyway, look, that's pretty much where they left it off. We are going to see how the fuck the next episode is going to be. I promise y'all it hopefully won't be as long for the next recap, because now I know how to turn the TV on properly since we got the new TV. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video if you love seeing these recaps from your girl. And don't forget to check out the blog, TheSocialiteLife.com. Check out the new posts that are on there. Of course, if you guys are watching this and it's getting close to Thanksgiving, hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have an amazing holiday, a great week. Enjoy time with your family and friends. Be careful out there because there's always crazies out there. Pray for the world. Pray for humanity. Okay? And of course, I will see y'all next week for this upcoming episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all. You already know what to do. As always, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SocialiteSandy. Hit me up on my Facebook fan page and my Pinterest page. Those links are down below. Hit me up on my blog, TheSocialiteLife.com, and hit me up on Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat at SocialiteSandy, SANDE. And you already know I love y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye.